This is the story of a woman named Gizmo. Gizmo spent her free time watching others play a variety of video games. Many of these people play games in a variety of genres, ranging from fantasy to horror to countless others. She'd go to work, come home, and just watch videos. Then one day, quite suddenly, every single one of those people were playing the same game. The game had no mechanics, no collectibles, and no customization of any kind. Puzzled and confused, she bought the game for herself to try on her small but growing YouTube channel. Please choose a screen and subtitle it. Damn, okay, I cannot English. I am as American as it gets. No, I'm not, but we're gonna do English. Have you played the Stanley Parable before? No. Please enter the current time. As I am recording this, it is 51 p.m. Well, if you haven't guessed already, today we're going to be playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe Edition. Oh, that's some Inception type shit. Holy goodness God. Okay. Okay. Well, begin. The end is never the end, is never the end, is never the end. Is loading. Good thing it's loading. Though if it wasn't loading, I'd be very sad.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Be honest, it's all that's important.
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
What if I just don't move? I have my hands off the keyboard, I have my hands off the mouse. Is anything gonna happen? No? Really? Okay, well, can I just... Oh.
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go any way except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever. I will be happy. Stanley waited. Hours passed, then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell. But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough, the answers would come. Eventually, someday, they would arrive. Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do. Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer.
Okay.
Here it comes. But Stanley simply couldn't handle the...
I wanted to see if there would be something else that's different. Okay.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers. At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes.
Boo, you're not witty at all.
Now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be?
No.
Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in?
This is a white
I'm over
void.
it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet?
No.
Then in that case, we'll continue. But now, here comes the real question. What do you think would have happened if you had told me that you wanted this to stop? Do you think it would have been particularly different? Would I have taken the same idea but rephrased it superficially to fit that answer? Perhaps you never would even have thought of it if I hadn't brought up the issue in the first place. Oh, now think about it. Will it be worth it for you to restart and then come back here just to do the other option? Clearly, this whole
stop
gag
reading
takes
my
some
mind.
time. What if the other option is even longer? How long will you spend in total just to have heard all the narration? Oh, and this is rich. Perhaps you've just played the other option, and now you've come to see what happens in this one. So, what do you think? Which choice was the better one? Imagine if you had selected continue on your first playthrough, how tantalizing it would be not knowing what happens when you pick the other option. Indeed, you are one of the lucky ones, though if the other option is really miserable to listen to, then perhaps you're not. In fact, I'm just going to say that no one who's listening to this is lucky. Well now, I've built up the other option so much that I'm going to stop talking and leave you to your decision whether to come back here, continue with the game, or just sit in this spot forever and ever. Cheers.
Is this it? Oh my god, this is literally just it. Okay, well, we're beginning again. Because I don't want to...
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
So there's... some of these with a waiting input. Okay, we're gonna go back. Some of these computers are on, and some of them are saying, oh, waiting input.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers. Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
There really, like, none of these doors that open? Oh my Jesus Christ, okay.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I'm gonna go this way. I forgot what
This
the
was
ways
not
of...
the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
No,
Perhaps he
I
wanted to
have
stop by
issue
the
with my
employee
left and
lounge
my
first,
right.
just to admire it.
You're being discriminatory, okay? That's not okay in this society. Saying that I'm perfectly new. Girl, I am neurodivergent. I don't know anything. None of these doors open. This is not okay. What? Okay then. Oh, this is a nice.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring.
This is actually really nice.
Detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
I mean, I know the narrator is being a sarcastic asshole, but this actually is a very nice room.
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
So what's the deal with this place? The weeks I've spent
At this
here,
point,
they feel
Stanley's
like they were
obsession with this
seconds.
room bordered on creepy and reflected poorly on his overall personality. It's possible that this is why everyone left.
That narrator, you need to be nice. You know what? Just for this, I'm not leaving this room.
Stanley
So-
sat around waiting for more dialogue, but when a long time had
You
passed
all-
and there was no more, he decided that the game was trying to send him a message.
Why does he keep cutting himself off? We got a Be My Valentine cup. No thank you, and I hate Monday. Oh, boring ass office stuff. Coffee, nut, and then another mug I cannot read because it's up against a wall. Interesting. Well, I guess we'll...
But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room and took the first open door on his left to get back to business.
No.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
What else is around here? Penalty for misuse of $1,000? Penalty for jumping off the cargo lift is $5,000. Well, I think I've...
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the
Oops.
story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good
Oops.
job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
I didn't intend to do that. My intention was just to look over the ledge. I don't know why his dialogue keeps getting himself cut off. Oh, okay.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Is there other...
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Like, 'cause there's a bunch of these computers that are still on. Input received on that one as well, and there's got to be something with that though. I hate Mondays. Of course you hate Mondays. Well, I plunged to my death, so I'm just gonna go to the
Stanley
meeting
came
room.
to a set of 2 open doors. He entered the door on his left.
All right. Is this the meeting room?
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Everyone is unique. You most of all? No, that's not true. Nobody's unique if everybody's unique. Gonna switch the slide. Number of slides, charts and slides, charts. This is melting my brain with how dull it is. Broom closet. I want to go into the broom closet.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
No, I want to stay in this broom closet.
There was
This is
nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here.
Oh, but there's so many reasons to be here. Like, there's all these wrenches, there's coils, there's mops. Like, look at this mop
Baffling
bucket.
that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
Sweet FA. See, that's the corporatized version of sweet fuck alls.
Are you really still in the broom closet? Standing
Yes.
around doing nothing? Why? Please offer me
Look.
some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused.
Well, look at all the amazing things that are in here. We got the radon coil, we have the wrenches, we have the
You do
tape.
realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever. I never would have thought to mention.
Yeah, because you don't understand how amazing a broom closet is.
Maybe to you this is somehow its own branching path. Maybe when you go talk about this with your friends you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favorite." I hope your friends find this concerning.
There's more things that my friends find concerning. Buddy.
Stanley
Buddy.
was fat and ugly and really, really stupid. He probably only got the job because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is. That or with drug money. Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Man, it was really, really fat, ugly, and also stupid is
Well, I've come to a very
hilarious.
definite conclusion about what's going on right now.
You're dead.
He got to
Okay.
this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing here when a physical malady of some sort shut down your central nervous system and you collapsed on the keyboard.
Not at all.
Well,
There's
in a
just so
situation
much to
like this,
look at in
the
here.
responsible thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of before it begins to decompose. Hello? Anyone who happens to be nearby? The person at this computer is dead. They have fallen prey to any number of your countless human physiological vulnerabilities. It's indicative of the long-term sustainability of your species. Please remove their corpse from the area and instruct another human to take their place, making sure they understand basic first-person video game mechanics and filling them in on the history of narrative tropes in video gaming, so that the irony and insightful commentary of this game is not lost on them.
That's not gonna happen,
When
buddy.
you've done that, just step out into the hallway.
Damn it, he's not gonna say anything else. That makes me sad, because there's so much that could have been said in the broom closet.
Ah, second player. It's good to have you on board. I guarantee you too. Unbelievable.
Yes. Oh, I love this. I gotta
Perhaps there's a
spend more
monkey nearby
time.
You can hand the controls to. A fish? Fungus? Look, you can hammer out the details. I'm not particularly picky. I'll just be waiting for when you're ready to pick up the story again.
There's literally nothing else. Okay. That's all I can do.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
I'm actually gonna walk downstairs, see what's down here. What's in here? Can I shut the doors? I don't...
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because
That
he
is true.
believed everyone had vanished. His boss would think he
1,
was crazy.
2, B,
And then something
4.
occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too
These are not
strange. This can't be
repeating.
real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue.
These aren't
He just hadn't found the words
repeating.
for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief.
Well, they're not
Stanley
repeating
felt
in the
to
order
have
that you
finally found an
first.
answer, an explanation. His
Yeah, that's
co-workers weren't
weird.
actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley
What?
marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange.
I can't
I'm
go.
dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of the world outside this one.
can kind of see.
Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been.
I cannot see
My
where I
life is
am.
normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
Okay.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black. This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Oh?
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay,
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
The end is never
Stanley
the end.
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
It's a lot of the end is never the end, the ever is never the... Oh, all the computers are that. These are the ones that are on. That's concerning. That had to have done something. Right? That was every computer that had the end is never the end, the ever is never the end is never the end on it. Whoa, this... Okay.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors,
Oh, yeah, to the
he
left.
entered the door on his left.
Right, okay, sorry, I am so direction blind.
Yet there was not a single person here either.
Alright,
Feeling
well,
a wave
I'm
of
gonna
disbelief,
just...
Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Because the boss knows that what the boss says goes, if the boss suffered losses and that's what the boss chose, that is the saying I live by. It's not my fault if the company's failing, it's the boss's fault if the company's failing, because they're the one who made the shots, made the decisions, called everything. This store is incredibly out of place. Holy fuck. Input receive. That is a disgusting painting. Business ew. Oh, I can go up a floor. Okay. Ooh, some nice bossa nova beats. I like this. Is it... Are we gonna reach the top of... Why are these papers glowing? Oh my goodness gracious. Oh, we're done? That didn't lead me anywhere. What's this? I am the most expensive boss. You're probably not. You're probably not. Considering this game is like, what, $29.99 or some shit? You're definitely not the most expensive by any means.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Can I play the piano? I can't play the piano. That's a tragedy. That's a travesty. This is some expensive ass looking
Stanley
wine.
just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
Let's see the combination. All you want, buddy, but I'm exploring. I'm seeing if there's any other knickknacks, paddywhacks around the certificate of something. I cannot read that. Pumpoisamin? I don't know.
But it turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in, and the door just opened all by itself.
Holy
and Stanley
fuck,
got the hell along with the story. Well, whoop-de-doo.
Oh my god, can I just not? Okay, fine. We'll go in. We'll go in. We'll go in. Okay, there literally is nothing in. Also, why? Okay, in the boss's office. Which, first off, what kind of boss has an office like this? The fuck. And second off, what company is this Stanley working for? Some like evil minion layer thing? I guess we'll go down via this service elevator. Oh, there's no nice bossa nova music? Shame.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Whoops, nope, never mind. Stanley actually got back into the elevator and went back up.
I love pissing off the narrator.
Why did Stanley do that when he knew that it would just lead back to his boss's office? Well, that's a great question. I just can't wait to find out.
I love pissing off the narrator in these kind of games. So do the thing that will always piss them off. Do this on
Here we are, Stanley. It's your boss's office. Exactly the way it was before you got onto the elevator. It's still just exactly what it is. What a decision you've made to come up here and look at the office again. This has fleshed out the plot of the story in new and fascinating ways I could have never anticipated. It's that keen eye for storytelling that you have, an incisive rapid fire of critical plot points, one after the other, weaving a rich tapestry of uncompromising narrative. Wow. I'm bolted to the edge of my seat.
Well, we can't leave, so I guess the only thing we can go is down the elevator. Then back up again, and then down and up again.
Now he's getting back into the elevator and going down again. Ladies and gentlemen, how does he keep coming up with all of this? Did you think we were going to go forward down the spooky corridor? No. It's time once again to go back up in the elevator. I can't even begin to grapple with what might be up there. Is it the boss's office again? Or what if it's the boss's office this time? The suspense is killing me.
He is so sarcastic. He's so British as well. We love a good British man who's just nothing but sarcastic. So I guess you could check out the boss's office. What is it, third time now?
Oh my god. It's the boss's office. This absolutely changes everything for me. Give me a time out here for a minute while I process this.
Oh my god, not the... This is legendary.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm prepared to embrace this stunning revelation and to move forward with... No, wait. No, I need more time to process.
I swear to God. I'm losing my mind. What the fuck? Are you done processing?
All right.
About damn
I
time.
have fully come to terms with it. I have made space in my worldview for this astonishing new reality. As before, I turn to your expert eye for gripping narrative. Of course, going back down in the elevator. How did I not anticipate it? I mean, sure, now it's obvious, but you have to understand that 30 seconds ago, this kind of thing had never been attempted before. I had no frame of reference to even anticipate it. That's just how revelatory Stanley's decision-making is. A breath of fresh air in a landscape of storytelling that has grown stale and repetitive.
That is ironic. Oh, so many levels. Up we go again. Yay. I'm curious if he says anything again. Or if he's just done. If he's just like, I can't.
You know what?
Oh, no.
I've just thought of something. Hold on, let's stop for a moment. Don't you realize? It's the anticipation, Stanley. You and I, we have no way of knowing what will be at the top of this elevator. But the suspense, the agony of waiting and anticipating and having to guess, that's the real thrill. I simply don't want to let that feeling go. It's so precious, so fleeting. Why don't we take this elevator ride nice and slow? There we go. Isn't this so much more exciting? You know, Stanley, it seems like nowadays the only thing that audiences want is to be shocked as loudly and frequently as possible. They want big, explosive moments flung right in their faces from the very moment that things get started.
Yeah.
But where's the tension? Where's the trust in the audience to build a slow and nuanced appreciation for the story, the characters? Why aren't we given time to imagine the surprises? To have to think and to anticipate and then to marvel at the eventual reveal. This is storytelling, Stanley. What you and I are doing right now. This is the most exciting narrative to be developed in years. And it's really all because of you. You're the one who took this bold step of revisiting the exact same locations over and over. Truly, I mean it. This is unique and different. It's not like anything else out there. You see, I want stories that surprise me, Stanley. I want to have to think. I want to be engaged and not pandered to. We're being fed such unimaginative drivel all the time, and we all know it, which is why we're so starved for content that makes us feel sharp and vital.
Apparently
and
so starved.
That's why people like you so much, Stanley. Because you're not afraid to spit in the face of tradition. You're a role model, you know? People look up to you. Which is why, oh, I didn't know when to spring this on you, but, well, I've gathered a little press conference for you, so that you can talk about your work and your storytelling and your life. Yes, I know you're not much for the public eye, but I thought it would especially mean a lot to the people who have been following you from the beginning. They really look up to you, Stanley. I don't know if you realize the impact you have on them. This is the kind of gesture that might leave a tremendous impact on them for the better. Oh, good, we're here.
Well, this is new.
Okay, the room where we're holding the press conference should be just around the corner
Stanley.
here somewhere.
Okay. Let's see what we got. The world's healthiest human being, how we did it, the pyramids, the guy who went to Mars. Okay. Then we got the storyteller. Stanley reveals all in his new book. Okay. We're just taking the piss. World peace, baby.
Ah, yes. Here it is, just through this door.
Okay.
All right, Are you ready?
To
I've told them you're going to
stage.
speak a little bit about the nature of surprise in storytelling
Oh,
and
hi,
what it means to
427.
craft a truly unpredictable narrative. Oh, don't worry. You'll do great. Just be yourself and speak from the heart. I'm really proud of you, Stanley. Okay, it looks like they're ready for you. Go get 'em.
Okay. The dude who came up with pizza. Oh, these posters are the Lord meet and greet. The Lord Jesus Christ, God himself, has a meet and greet? Why am I not invited to that? I want to go to, I have so many questions to ask him. Anyway, where? Oh my goodness. Down, then up, then down, then up, then down, then up. Okay. Oh my gosh. I think I'm gonna end it there. Yeah, this is the story of a man named Stanley. And this story apparently is never ending. So I will be seeing you in episode number 2 of Stanley Parable. Until then, like, comment, subscribe if you want to, no pressure. And I shall see you in the next video. Jesus fucking Christ, what was that last ending?